Welcome everyone to our first ever Pentacle Theatre Zoom reunion. I'm Lisa Joyce, the Executive Director, and I'm just super thrilled that we have this, our first out of the chute opportunity is with such a stellar group of individuals, the funniest people you'll have the pleasure of speaking with. And I want you to be sure to put your questions in the chat. If you want to participate in the spelling bee, put that in the chat. Robert and I will be monitoring that, and we'll be selecting a few folks to do that. The first thing I really want to do, though, is thank Stephanie Palmblad, who sponsored this virtual event. Her generosity and her love for the arts is incredible, and she's also a wonderful estate planning attorney. So if you do need to touch up your will or make an estate plan, please consider Stephanie. She is a great skilled attorney and will help you make sure that your desires are met after you pass. So we're going to start this off with Mr. Robert Salberg. Sorry, that's my spelling error. Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really glad.
I'll fix my name really quick.
Yeah. So you are known for the musicals that you direct, and you have directed many, many large musicals that are very well known. And this particular musical is a gem, but not as widely known as a musical. And it's a very small cast compared to what you usually do. So can you tell me a little bit about this choice and how you landed on this particular musical and what challenges it presented?
Yeah, I actually was, I had done Seussical, Annie, and Fiddler on the Roof, and then Rent before this show. And I thought it would be a great little break to do a show with just like 7 people who never leave the stage in a unit set that we wouldn't have to have a big tech crew. And I had all these grand thoughts in my mind about how a small show is easier than a big show, and a small show is not easier than a big show, and actually this show has some different elements that make it as challenging in a different way as a big show. So I kind of wanted a break from having to manage 30 to 50 people in a large scale musical, and thought this would be a nice transition. And so while it didn't have as many people, it definitely had different challenges that oftentimes felt like just as many people. So
what kind of challenges specifically?
So I have a tendency to like shows that are audience participation. So if people saw Seussical, there was a lot of audience participation in that show, and oftentimes at Pentacle we don't always pick those shows that break the fourth wall. So I really like that improvisational aspect of because if you're going to interact with the audience, it's always going to be improvisational in nature. And so we did that with Seussical and kind of pushed some boundaries with that show and being in the audience at Pentacle. And then this show actually invited 3 people from the audience to spell in the spelling bee every night. So basically we would rehearse, the most challenging part is you're rehearsing the show, but you always have 3 actors that aren't there. And there's choreography that's involved with 3 actors that aren't there. So that was the real challenging part of it, is how you put a show together, knowing not only are you missing these 3 people, but they're 3 very different people every night. You don't know who they're going to be. You don't know how they're going to act. You don't know how comfortable they're going to be. And sometimes we would try to choreograph who we wanted to be in the show if we knew somebody was coming that night. Like there was a night we knew Helen Shepard was going to be there, and she was a lifetime member and a wonderful woman, and we really wanted Helen to be a speller, but just because we picked Helen to be a speller, we still didn't know kind of how Helen would interact with the speller. So and that was a highlight of of any show I've ever directed was watching Helen on stage in this show. And I believe Helen was an English teacher. So she was a great speller, but she must have been in her late 80s when she was a speller, and she did the choreography. And I remember telling Jeffrey Pressler, who's the kind of the one that would help move the spellers around in the final song before intermission, that he better not break Helen Shepard. That, I mean, she was a sweet
fragile lady.
Yeah. And I just didn't. I was terrified of hurting her inadvertently. So that was kind of the biggest challenge, is the improvisational nature of the show and how you incorporate that in rehearsals for 2 months.
Great. Let's start with introducing the cast, and let's start with Tom Hewitt and Heather Toller, whose improvisational chemistry was unforgettable for me as an audience member. Talk a little bit about your experience, the being the principal, or the vice principal, sorry, let's be clear.
It's sensitive. It's a sensitive topic, that vice principal. I also was a replacement judge, and there's some resentment about that. But I really, and this is very unprofessional to admit, but it's been, what, 9 years? So I can admit this now. I had two purposes every single night of this production, and one was to make Robert laugh so hard he fell out of his seat, and to make Heather break character.
Mm-hmm. And did you succeed?
Pretty much. Yeah. Heather was very discreet. She would cough or cover it somehow.
I think one night specifically, Tom, you did make me almost break character, and I had to open my mouth. So I just went like this. I stayed in character.
I think it was when I explained that my outburst was due to a botched colonoscopy, and that was quite a surprise to you.
Yes, that was the line. That is correct.
So
yes.
One of the things that I remember about your performance, Heather, is that you were very immersed. You were method. You had this.
I was just playing myself, basically. Yes, it was a lot of fun working with Tom. Specifically, we never really got to settle because we were always coordinating and trying to figure out what words, what letters, everything. So it was a lot of fun energy. I thought we were a good combination.
Well, and we had a system that when you had an audience volunteer and they were pre-selected and they were told, don't try to act, don't try to be funny, just ask for a definition, ask for a sentence. But if someone wasn't playing, it wasn't working with the audience, I would pass Heather a card, or she would pass me a card and say, it's time for this one. And it would be just an impossible word. So we could just get them out of there.
Yeah.
So we had a little system. We had a pile of standby cards for next.
This person isn't cutting it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we were really surprised, I think, sometimes when people could spell words that we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
I believe Lisa was eliminated on a word she still to this day says she spelt correctly. So Heather must have decided you had to go, Lisa.
It was time.
So maybe you should want to get home. Who knows? But golly, yeah, I'm a good speller. Okay, so I'm going to start introducing the cast here. So Chris Owens, you didn't put in your character name. What was your character's name? And you're muted, my friend. You're muted.
Chip Tolentino.
Tolentino.
They don't use Zoom a lot at the
The
courthouse.
little Boy Scout.
Oh, you don't do Zoom workouts?
I don't.
Okay, so Chip, what was his story, and what spoke to you about this life?
So Chip was the returning champion, and it was he was coming back to win it again, and he basically got distracted by a girl in the audience that he had a crush on, and had something pop up, and got distracted and went out early.
So sad. Jeff quit. William Barfay. There you go. Oof.
William
Hello.
Barfay, yes. Hello.
Hi.
I'm wearing my shirt just for this. Yeah, what I love about William's character was I just got to be as obnoxious as I could be on stage. I mean, not only to my fellow cast members, but to our guest spellers. And to just be creative that way every night and do something different and play around with them and torture them a little bit. It was super fun. Had a great time.
You were. So your foot song.
My magic foot.
Yeah.
That's how I would spell. That's how I would spell, is I'd spell the word out on the floor with my foot. And obviously it worked because I won.
Spoiler alert.
You got a great.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
So I'm going to ask Michelle Peterson to join us with her beautiful face. We miss you in Oregon.
Miss all of you as well.
So I have to say right now on the screen, Heather and Jeff and Michelle sang the most beautiful song and made my dad cry. Need to know that. Dick Joyce cried because of you. So go ahead, Michelle, talk to us a little bit about your character and her story. She's got a complicated one.
Yeah, she's Olive Ostrovsky, and Olive is a sweet girl, comes out of nowhere. Nobody's ever seen her before, and she walks in, and she has kind of a complicated home life in which mom and dad are not really there for her at all, and her best friend is her dictionary. So, you know, what better place to hang out than at a spelling bee on a Saturday, you know? So, but the cool thing is she actually gets her first friend in William Barfay, even though he actually beats her. But I think there's a little love twist there too. Don't you think, Hefe? Yeah.
I do believe so. Yes.
Yeah, but probably the highlight of the show definitely for me was every night getting to sing with Heather and Jeff. And that was probably, there's actually secret footage of that. Thanks to Danny Potter, by the way. So just
because we recorded them singing in the dressing room one night before the show.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go to Julianne.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'll start it up. Hi.
Hello. Julianne. Okay, so how's your name pronounced?
Logan Schwarzenegger. Yeah, it's a real tongue twister, but yeah, that was a super fun character to play. The lisp was a little bit more challenging to, like, you know, sing with a lisp, spell with a lisp, but it was such a blast. It was really fun. So, I mean, I guess I can talk in a lisp, but I think it's a little bit more legible, or you can hear it more clearly if I don't. So
I don't think I ever asked Julianne this during the show, but so Julianne is from Portland, right? And so she came down it's very rare that we get people that will commute from Portland to do a Pentacle show. So what was it about, like, Spelling Bee, or was it Spelling Bee, or just wanted to do a musical that, like, inspired you to, like, audition for this show and make that commitment? Because it's a commitment for all of us locally, but it's even more of a commitment for those that have to commute.
yeah, no, I mean, I love doing theater. I love doing musical theater. I work for a winery in Carleton, so it was kind of like halfway, and sometimes I could drive straight from Carleton. But it was also like, this is such an awesome show to get to do all of this improv, and I don't know, it was I didn't think about it. I just wanted to be in it. I wanted to do it, and no one else was doing it. So, like, heck yeah, I'm going to audition, and loved getting to spend time with you guys and get to know all of you guys. And so it was like driving, all that stuff was not even in the equation. It was like, no, I really want to be a part of this. So it was.
And I remember Julianne had the lisp like down at the first rehearsal, maybe even at auditions. Like the lisp was so natural.
Thanks.
I know.
Thanks, I think.
Okay, let's go to Sarah Greenlee, who speaks how many languages?
Hello.
So what I recall so much about your part is that you really did look like an adolescent. You were able to pull off that whole.
I'll take it.
It was darling. Let's talk a little bit about. You don't do a lot of performing. The music.
Actually, yeah. Well, so this was my first and only show, but I was a piano performance major, so lots of performing in my background. But Lila, my daughter, was actually directed by Robert in Fiddler on the Roof and probably something else between these shows. I don't remember, but Robert asked me to audition, and I was terrified, but it was a total blast.
You're very brave. So you're not going to do it again? You're not going to come back to this?
I don't know anybody. Yeah.
Marcy had to play the piano, right? And like that was one thing that like we needed somebody for sure that could play the piano for that part, because she ends up playing something during I speak 6 languages. But
and she could do the splits.
And she could do the splits.
No, I couldn't.
She was great with a baton. I mean, we met Sarah during Fiddler, and just like she's one of those people that's a theater person, but maybe just didn't have the experience as everyone else. And so I
was in a practice room for 5 hours a day.
It took a lot of arm twisting to get her to audition.
It was fun.
All right, well, Jeff Pressler, welcome back to Oregon from a distance.
Someday I'll be back. I'm not allowed yet. I still have parole issues. I have to stay here. No, that's mostly because Mitch, the comfort counselor, I think it's a community service thing, but I always made it more of a parole, like definitely fresh out of prison. I think my interactions with Vice Principal Panch right before the show started always showed my prison roots. But it was really fun. I think one cool thing about Mitch is he's so different than everybody else on stage, because all the kids are being kids and they're competing, and then you have the 2 adults who I don't know, they're there in their own world. And Mitch is just kind of there in the background. And so I always was trying to keep something going. I think most of the time I was carving figures out of soap or out of wood. I carved a knife. I actually carved 2 separate knives out of wood. And I carved several other shanks and provided juice boxes. And it was really fun. It was being the wood paneling in a certain way. Something interesting to look at, but I tried not to pull too much attention, just to be weird, so you double take every time you looked over. And then I tried not to break any contestants unless they wouldn't get off stage because they misspelled words. I think I only had one person spray juice in my face when I escorted them back to their seat.
Oh, that's right. Who was that?
Wendy.
That's right. It was, of all people, Wendy. That's right.
She said she was actually nervous, which is why she's like, she didn't know what to do. And I think she said she thought I had squirted some juice at her, but I just put the straw in it. And so she squeezed it back at me.
At intermission, we had a juice cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It made the stage sticky for like the rest of the weekend.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so let's bring in our tech and other support. So Sarah Jane and Marianne and Danny and Diane.
And Kathleen's right there. I mean, I see Kathleen right under my picture.
Oh, and Kathleen, sorry.
And I
just have a question for her.
Yeah, with Kathleen, Kathleen and I met in 2006 when she was choreographing Seussical at the Gallery Theater, which I was in. And then we somehow got her to come to Pentacle and start choreographing in Salem. And Kathleen choreographed Fiddler, the original choreography, from the actual Fiddler on the Roof script.
Which was a nightmare.
As created by the original choreographer, Agnes DeMille, which was a nightmare. But Kathleen did it with, a cast of 35 on our tiny stage. And then she signed on to do this show. And so Kathleen, I think, I don't know how, as a choreographer, you approached teaching these people, some of them maybe non-dancers, to dance with, Sarah shakes her head, to dance with holding a spot, because, they had choreography with people that weren't there.
Right. That was the trickiest part about this, was the fact that we had to try to dance around and work with someone who was going to be a different person every night, and we didn't know exactly how they were going to react. So the whole time, especially choreographing it was difficult because it had to be somebody who didn't know what they were doing, and we had to have certain people that were going to guide them. But then also we had to have, like me usually, stand there and try to act like I don't know what I'm doing, and make sure to try to bump into them and try to do the wrong thing so that they could figure out what they would do in that situation. So that was a big challenge. That was polar opposite of Fiddler, I would say. And I was just thinking about Pandemonium the other day, and how that was the craziest number. It was Pandemonium, and how hard it was to work with all of those people, some of them not knowing what they were doing. So yeah, but it was really fun. I loved the cast. It was so fun to work with all of you guys, and they're great dancers. I don't know what you're talking about, Robert.
I just think some of them lacked confidence.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
You brought out the dancer. You brought out the dancer in them.
Yeah, it was the first time I tapped in a show, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you guys did great.
I've never tapped before in my life.
I tapped on the right side, but not on the left. And that was a problem. that was the staging problem, because I kept veering right.
Kathleen,
oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kathleen brings up a really fun memory that I have. And Lisa, I'd like you to, would you please bring on our special guest in a moment?
Oh, sure.
So when we were rehearsing this show, they all look really like, what is he talking about? In the last maybe 2 weeks, I decided to bring practice people in. And had practice people come in and be the spellers, so that we could see what it was like with people. And one night I brought this person in and I told her, be drunk, be disorderly, and be obnoxious. But I didn't tell the cast that. And I just let her at him.
Oh, and she was ruthless.
And let's bring her on, Lisa. Where is Lindsay Hauser?
Lindsay, you need to turn on your audio and video.
Turn on your audio and video, Lindsay.
She may also need to consult with her parole officer.
There she is.
And she was so.
Lindsay.
So Lindsay and I have talked about this a couple times this week, and she's frozen. Oh, she claims that she doesn't even remember that rehearsal, or that I told her to do any of that. Jeff Witt?
But I remember Tom.
That doesn't surprise me.
Tom was so pissed off. Tom.
Oh, you were slurred speech, sloppy, falling down.
To be fair, I mean, Lindsay's like a Pentacle staple, but we didn't really know her at that point. So it was sort of like, who is this woman, and why is she here, and what is going on, and where did Robert find her?
Yeah,
like,
and
why is she drunk?
Is she really drunk? Yeah, we didn't know.
And I distinctly remember. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Well, you just made me do it, and I followed.
Well, and I distinctly remember some of the cast members upset with me after the fact, why we let her come to rehearsal and do that. And my answer was, I told her to do all of that. That was what I wanted her to do. So you could practice what it was like with somebody out of control like Lindsay. Luckily, we never got anybody like that. I think the worst was Wendy's juice box incident.
Yeah. And you're all welcome, even though I upset you.
You made us all the better, Lindsay.
Yeah, I think you're the winds beneath our wings, really.
Okay, that's a push. That's a stretch. I'm still angry.
I didn't notice any difference. I didn't see anything. She seemed fine to me.
Of course.
Oh, you guys, you're so great. Hey, so we're, I did want to get a little bit from lights and sound folks, costumers and stage manager. So let's start with the stage manager, because that had to be a really fun challenge, Diane.
It definitely was. It was my first show that I worked on at Pentacle doing something besides sets. So it was interesting. It was a big learning experience. I'm doing the props as well. I had a great time doing the props. I love doing those. And then taking care of the cast backstage, making sure you always had cough drops and tissues and anything they might need. And I remember the night that Lindsay was there, it was hysterical.
Danny?
Marianne has kind of a sad story about her little part.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. Is it sad? It's a sight gag that never happened. Yeah. So Robert asks for the impossible every time I work with him. So he ordered a pair of shorts for Chris that were very short and very, very tight. But he also ordered a sight gag that would allow the shorts to pup tent on demand. And we did succeed. It just wasn't what Robert wanted. So Chris, in his infinite wisdom, just took his hat off and held it in the appropriate place, and that was perfect. And we went on that way. So it only made it through dress rehearsal. So, and I just want to add, it's not the only time that Robert has ordered that sight gag.
Well, and Marianne continues to work on perfecting that sight gag.
Yes.
Show after show.
Mm-hmm. All on 9 to 5.
I keep on telling her, Marianne, we don't need that again, and she keeps on just adding it in the show.
Yeah,
well, it's every time. It has to happen every time now.
Fiddler on the Roof.
To make Robert's costume, he was in the lobby as a
in Les Mis. Les Mis.
It was so blatant. It was like the last scene in Boogie Nights. It was just, oh, it was way too shocking.
I think there was a clicking noise. Yeah.
Sarah Jane, I understand you provided the laugh track if the audience wasn't responding appropriately, huh?
I mean, I usually laughed at the jokes that nobody else is really laughing at, like the Cubs one that I requested Tom to do every show, but he didn't. But he saved it for just the right time, and I would always be laughing, and it would be like quiet in the theater. And then, yeah. That was usually what's happening. Or if Danny laughed, then I would start laughing, and it was kind of like a call and response, like every night.
Yeah. Well, and your laugh is wonderful. So Danny, did you have any found mishaps? Was there any?
No, I mean, I got really lucky with this cast because for the most part, they were all pretty used to it. We were definitely trying to figure out. That was really early in the process of body microphones for us in terms of how were we going to get them. It's a lot of physical movement in this show, which was really difficult. And so getting them to stay and not fall all over the place while they were tapping and rolling around and stuff like that. So that was a struggle, but mostly there were so many different kinds of microphones on the stage, which was fun because everyone was body mic'd, but then we also had 2 microphones that were on the desk that actually functioned and the speller mic, and I think the worst part was dealing with our guest spellers because they did not know how to use a microphone, and it was constant struggle to get them to actually speak into it. I don't think they thought it was actually functioning, and so that was always a fun one. But I brought it because this is who I am, right? So I've got my script still with all of the sound cue tabs in it. So all of these little flags are all of the different microphones turning on and turning off and all of this stuff, and all of the stickers that were on the board with everyone's names and everything, because I spend so much time with this it feels silly to throw it away. But it was, for as small of a cast as we had, it was a lot of switching back and forth, a lot of microphones, a lot of chaos, and a lot of people telling me I needed to turn down the I Love You song, but I wanted to hear all of it, and so I would have it be really, really high, and then people were like, that was really loud. Danny was like, I don't know what happened, I'm not sure, but I just wanted it. So that's really the issue.
So Tom, I know you have a sound story.
I do. Heather Toller, I don't know if you realize, is quite a belter. And one night her microphone went out. And here's how I remember it. And I'm one to embellish, but
Never.
her microphone went out. But because of her amazing voice, no one knew. I mean, her volume without a microphone matched everyone else. And she actually left the stage to fix it. And what I remember, Heather, is they didn't fix it. You just came back without it and belted. Is that true, or is that just me fantasizing?
It's so funny, but I think actually you had to sing for me in the background is how I remember it.
Oh God, no.
No, actually I don't. It's funny, I don't remember it because so many of those crazy things happen when you're doing performances that you just kind of go forward and you work with it, whatever comes your way. So it's interesting that I don't remember it the same way you do, Tom. But that's
this wasn't only Sarah Greenlee's first musical, it was also little Tommy Hewitt's first musical. And so
no, he was
he
was in Once Upon a Mattress.
He was, but he was the mute king.
Silent king. Yes,
he was
as the pantomime king.
And so, the first music rehearsal was like Tom's first day of school.
Oh God, and I was terrified. I've taken some voice lessons since, so I feel more confident. I still don't read music, but then neither did Judy Garland. Thank you. But standing next to a Jeff Witt and a Heather Toller and trying to be a singer. And here's my confession 9 years later. In that final number, the finale, I was supposed to sing a harmony part that I could never get, and I mouthed the words. I never sang.
Well, you did, Tom, tell me to turn your microphone off for that number, and I said no. And so then you were like, well, fine, I'm just not going to sing it then. And I was like, you do you, Tom, but I'm not turning you off. So you
I would have to do a sound check in front of these singers, and I would just, want to sing happy birthday, or just, can we skip it and just assume the microphone's fine? It was very terrifying.
A Danny Potter mic check is a show in of itself.
This is true.
She wants to be entertained.
Because we had all of those themes, and Tom would always be like, I'm a creature of habit, Danny. I don't want to disappoint you, but I will be singing my song for every mic check because I'm afraid I'm going to forget. And then like towards the very end, he like came out with some like crooner, beautiful something, and everyone was shocked because we were so used to the same thing over and over again.
Oh, and I'd rehearsed it for hours.
So I think it's time to start spelling. And this is where the fun really begins. And I'm just going to hand it over to Tom.
Okay, can I just say one thing to sort of tie up this part? To the people in the audience who have never been at a Pentacle show, but think about it or want to be nudged, this was one of those shows, and it's more often than not that I could not wait to get to the theater every night. The daytime was just a waiting period to get to the theater and get to play with these people. It was very fun. It was very fun. And the script, about the words, the script invites you to make up your own word. Okay. There was a lot going on politically then, nothing like now, but Danny, who saved her notebook, I don't have my words anymore. So I've incorporated some new words, some new 2020 vocabulary, but let's launch into this, and let me have all of you become your characters, if you would. And I'm going to start by doing a little spelling bee with some of the kids here. Oh, there's Logan. Isn't she something with the buttons? All right. And Mr. Barfy, who clearly is not his only cross to bear. But anyway, I want to just let's start with you, Mr. Barfy. Let's start with this. Your word. Now, here's the procedure. And audience, I want you to know this and know that Lindsay is not allowed to participate. Have another drink, Lindsay. All right. I will give you a word. You ask for a definition.
I know.
And then you ask for the word to be used in a sentence, and then you try
I know.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Barfy, Mr. Attitude. Here we go. All right. Your word, Mr. Barfy, is thalposis. Thalposis. Mm-hmm.
Can I have a definition, please?
Yes, you certainly can. Sensation of warmth.
Sensation of warmth. Okay. Can you use that in a sentence, please?
Yes, I would be happy to. After feeling another wave of thalposis, Tommy realized he was in the kiddie pool.
Kiddie.
Falposis.
Oh, hold on. Let me check real quick.
You cannot leave the room and talk and look at a dictionary.
I'm using my
you're
foot.
tapping. You're tapping your foot. I'm sorry. God, what a weirdo.
Falposis.
Falposis.
Palposis.
Okay, now I can only assume that because we're on Zoom, it was my pronunciation. It's once again
foul. Oh, falposis. Yes, I heard falposis. Please speak clearly.
Oh,
falposis. Falposis. Falposis.
That is correct. That is correct. And
I know.
A happy bell will play. All right. Let me go with Olive Ostrovsky. Ostrovsky. Here's a word for you. All right. Vigintillion. Vigintillion.
Vigintillion. Can I have a definition, please?
Absolutely. Vigintillion. 20 million. 20 million.
Okay. Could you use it in a sentence, please?
I'd be happy to. Billy, if I've told you once, I've told you a vigintillion times, those magazines are daddies.
Oh.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Jane.
Vigintillion. Vigintillian.
Oh, hello. There we go. And that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give another cast member a word.
Olive.
What's that?
I said go Olive.
Okay, Mr. Barfi, always supporting others. Here we are. Let's see. Let me have Kathleen, choreographer. Doesn't have to be the kids. Here's another one. Remember, you asked for a definition and for a sentence. Your word is gremial. Gremial.
Can you use that in a sentence, please?
I'd be happy to. First, I'll give you a definition. A cloth placed on the lap of a bishop during Mass. And your sentence, Kenny, you realize that's not how I like my gremial placed. Better see me after Mass.
Oh.
Hey, everybody focus on Robert's reaction. There we go. There it is. That's let's do another one before we open up to the audience. Logan Schwartz.
Yes, I'm ready. You didn't even get to spell.
Oh, Mr. Krabby. All right. Logan, Miss Schwartz and Grubinier. I see you're all ready. Your word is dengue, or I'm sorry, dengue. Dengue.
I think you were correct in the first pronunciation. I think dengue is the correct pronunciation, but can you give me a definition?
Even though the attitude, I'd be happy to. Dengue, a disease transmitted by mosquitoes that causes headache, severe joint pain, rash, and severe diarrhea.
Terrible. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Yes, I will. When the pediatrician asked Billy to describe the symptoms of his dengue, he said, it was like there was a race out of my tushy and everybody won.
Okay. Dengue. D-E-N-G-U-E, dengue.
Hello, and that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, let's open it up to our audience. I'm going to ask the kids here in the audience to unmute because we'll just support these people and laugh and applaud and make some noise. So, Robert, tell us how this works, or Lisa, how are we going to open this up to audience?
All right, well, we have a list of people in the attendee group that we're going to invite to upgrade to panelists. And when you come on, you're going to turn your video on and keep your mic on mute until you are ready to speak. And just like the kids showed you, you're going to ask for a definition, and then you're going to ask Vice Principal Panch to use it in a sentence. And if you get the word correct, you will move forward. If you get the word wrong, well, first, if you get the word correct, what will they hear?
Happy Bell?
I think
They'll hear
Mr.
a happy bell.
Goodbye.
Happy bell is if they get it correct.
Happy Bell if they get it right.
Happy Bell.
And if you get it wrong, you will hear. And the spelling bee cast will lip sync that in perfect unison at the same time. And then you will be asked to turn your camera off and mute, and you will be demoted back down to an attendee. So introducing speller number 1, please welcome Betsy Wilde.
Hello.
Did you, oh, there she is.
Well, she doesn't look like a Betsy at all.
One of them robots.
Don't judge.
Nice eye.
All right, speller number 2.
Yeah, wait a minute, there we go.
BJ, I always screw up your last name.
Toe.
Coey, yes, okay, that's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to screw it up. Michael Carrick, speller number 3.
Hello.
Hello, BJ. Hello, Betsy. Are you there?
There's Beverly Carrick. All right.
Beverly, yeah.
We'll take
Michael's
her.
not
Beverly
here.
Carrick. All
Okay.
right. Beverly, BJ.
Number 4, Pentacle lifetime member Debbie Neal.
Oh,
See, Debbie.
she's joining the Brady Bunch grid.
Hang on.
Here comes Debbie Neal.
Well, eventually. There she is.
Oh,
that's Chris Owens.
But she signs up as Deborah. I get so confused. Okay, there she is.
All right. And then speller number 5, Ed Kramer.
Ed Kramer.
He volunteered.
I don't see Debbie Neal.
I don't either.
Oh, there she is.
There's Debbie Neal.
Hello, spellers. Good to see all of you.
I want to see Betsy Wilde, though.
I know. Well, there's Ed Kramer. Hey, Ed.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Good to see
So
you.
we have
Ed.
Debbie Neal.
See you
We have
all.
BJ. We have Beverly. We
Hi.
have Ed, and Betsy Wilde is a blank screen. Betsy, can we see your face? Is
She
that?
just
is
said
there-
that the camera doesn't work on her computer, so she's just gonna have to be that tiny little like thing on the screen.
Thank you.
Betsy,
All right.
can we hear you?
Let Betsy talk. Hey, Betsy. Hello? Can we hear you?
I think she was sent by Lindsay Hauser.
Oh, Betsy, it looks like your mic isn't working.
Uh-oh. All right, we're going to demote Betsy, and we're going to bring up
Hi, Betsy.
Gwen Ellen Anderson.
Miss you.
Bummer. It's a big bummer.
Sorry, Betsy.
You can spell some words later, Betsy.
Okay, let me see.
You know Gwen Ellen.
Bring on Gwen Ellen.
I'm on it. On it. There you go. I'll demote Betsy for Betsy.
It's so fun to see people on Zoom. Like
Hey,
everybody
Gwen
looks like
Ellen.
everybody,
Thank you.
Debbie Neal and Beverly look like their homes have 12-foot ceilings. Look at there. Look at there. They're coming to you from the tower.
There's Gwen Ellen.
Where is she?
She's right, well, she's in my little corner.
There
there
she
she is.
is. There's Gwen Ellen. Gwen Ellen, hey, thanks for joining us. All right, well, let's get
Great to
started.
see
Let
our
me start.
stars.
Let me start with Deborah Neal. Are you ready for your first word? Now remember that you'll ask for a definition, and then you'll ask for it to be used in a sentence. If you spell it correctly, you'll hear the happy bell. If you spell it incorrectly, you'll hear the goodbye song. I may give you a second chance just to have that happen. If you spell it correctly, and look at Gwen Ellen is just delighted by all of this. Are you in bed, Gwen Ellen? Look, it looks like a headboard behind you.
Yes, but I want
All
the
right,
word cow.
All right, we'll try to move quickly through this.
Vice Principal Panch. Lisa's trying to get your attention.
What's that, Lisa?
Yes,
Lisa's.
so, while Zoom says that everybody should be able to see what I see, the audience is not able to see the gallery view. And I'm not speaking of the problem. So that means crosstalk is hard. So we'll have to mute if you're not a speller. When you're speaking, you will appear to the audience. And I'm very sorry about this. And I tried to troubleshoot it yesterday and I can't figure it out. So I'm gonna probably, when we do this again, I'll have a different platform. So just that solves that.
Okay, we'll carry on. We'll carry on. I think Lindsay Hauser is somehow responsible, but I can't prove it. Our first contestant, Deborah Neal, who lately has gone by the name Pam Demick, who is quite a super spreader party girl. So Pam, here is your word. We'll start simply. You.
May I have a definition, please?
Absolutely. A female sheep.
Oh, okay. Could you please use that in a sentence?
Why not? Gretchen, the sheep's crush on Johnny, the effeminate sheep boy, ended when she was told, sorry, he's just not into use.
You.
Okay, thank you, Ed. I see your laughter. There's your sentence, and would you spell it for us, please?
EWE.
That is correct. That's why I'm ringing the happy bell. Shall I give you another word?
Well, doesn't somebody else get a turn?
Well, let's stay with you for just a second.
Sure.
In my effort to eliminate you, no, I'm just kidding.
I know, because I think I'm being set up here, Tom.
Okay, do you want to be on hold as a winner?
As a winner?
No, I mean, do you want me to pass and have you in good
No,
graces?
I'll keep spelling if you want.
Well, that's the spirit.
Yeah.
Dystopia.
May I have a definition, please?
A place or state where things are as bad as it gets.
And would you please use dystopia in a sentence?
Yes, I will. Whenever Jack gets depressed about living in a dystopia, he calls his brother in Detroit.
Dystopia. Dystopia.
That is correct, and you're quite a speller, Deborah Neal. So I'm gonna have you just hold for a minute, and we're gonna go on to let's go to BJ. BJ, welcome. Thanks for coming. Here's a word for you, and I know that BJ, you're a children's librarian, and I don't want to make assumptions, but I assume that makes you a great speller.
That would be an assumption.
Yeah, there you go. And even though your lighting looks like you're in the witness protection program, we'll proceed anyway. Here we go. Atheist.
So could you give me a definition of that, please?
Yes, a person who does not believe in the existence of God or an afterlife. Atheist.
How about using it in a sentence?
How about it? Because she was an atheist, Susie was not bothered by the other kids chanting, "Go to hell, Susie, go to hell."
That would be ATHEIST.
That is correct. Happy Bell. Let me give you another word just to be fair here. Here we go. Album Gracum. Album Gracum.
Album Gracum?
Album Gracum.
Gracum.
Gracum. Album Gracum. Let me just point to my dental work. Gracum.
Gracum. Would you give me the definition of that, please?
Yes, I will. Dog excrement, which when whitened by exposure can be used in tanning leather. Look at Sarah.
Well, I should know this because I have a Bernese Mountain Dog, and we have a lot of album Gracum in the yard.
See, well, I hope you're wearing leather, if I might speak freely. Sentence?
Is that in a sentence?
Watch me. Here we go. Billy loved his new Album Gracum bomber jacket, but it smelled like crap.
ALBUMGRAKUM.
Oh, I am so sorry. It's ECUM. But
It was
we'll
one or
find
the
out.
other.
What's that?
It was one or the other, and I can tell you I never read it in the children's book.
Well, now we're getting a little bit of an attitude.
Well, yeah.
Here's your goodbye song. Oh boy, the cast was quick to wave goodbye, weren't they, BJ? But stay with us and watch the others fail. Okay, let's go with Ed Kramer now. Ed, how are you, Ed? Ed is also a well-known super spreader, and this past year has gone by the name Cody McCovid. Ed, let's try this. Fandango. Fandango.
He's muted.
Oh, Ed, you're muted. There we go. Could you unmute, Ed?
Yes, got it. Sorry.
That's okay. Fandango.
Fandango. Could you spell that for me, please?
Why wouldn't I? A lively Spanish dance for two people.
And could you use it in a sentence?
Why not? To answer the, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Here's the sentence. I see a little silhouette of a man, Scaramouche, Scaramouche. Will you do the fandango?
That would be.
You saw that coming, didn't you?
Pardon?
Nothing. I'm talking to myself, really.
He didn't ask for a definition. He asked you to spell it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I asked
wow.
for the spelling up front.
Imagine my embarrassment. The definition,
I was trying
a
to
lively Spanish dance for two people.
Okay,
A lively
I think
Spanish
that might
dance
be.
for two people.
I think the version, the shortened version, might be FANDANGO. Fandango.
That is correct. I don't know shortened version from whatever, but that was very well done. Let's try another one. How about ptomaine? Ptomaine.
Ptomaine. Could you give me a definition, please?
Any class of foul-smelling substances produced by bacteria during putrefaction of animal or plant protein.
And I would very much look forward to hearing you use that in a sentence, please.
I'm so happy for your excitement. Ptomaine. Whoever smelt it, dealt it.
Ptomaine.
Mm-hmm.
PTOMAINE. Ptomaine.
Correct. And you knew the silent P. Hello.
The silent P.
Listen to that. Look at Mr. Barfy is rolling his eyes. He's impressed, but not impressed. Let me give you one more here. Barygnosis. Barygnosis.
A what? Barygnosis?
Yeah, that's correct. Barygnosis.
Could you spell that for me, please, Tom?
Spell it? No.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Could you define it or spell it?
Wow,
Your
you
choice.
just jumped right to cheating. Wow. The definition, loss of ability to perceive weight. Loss of ability to perceive weight.
That pretty much defines me. And could you use it in a sentence?
Yes. Now that I know you have barygnosis, honey, those genes do make you look fat.
Barygnosis.
Correct.
BERRIGNOSIS.
Oh, so close yet so far. You had an E in there that we didn't need, so I'm sorry, that is not the correct spelling.
Being all of
That's a happy yet a sad goodbye song. Thank you, Ed. Stay with us. Beverly.
Yes.
Let's go to
hi.
you. Coming to us from the tower, the world's tallest cabinets. There they are. Beverly Carrick, ladies and gentlemen. She's been working in food service for Uber Eats. She got a job with Uber Eats and is now going by the name Delivery during this past year. So D, your first word is cynical. Cynical. And just a side note, this is Robert's favorite. Cynical.
Would you give me the definition, please?
Of course I will. A dining room, specifically the room where the Last Supper was held.
And I need you to use it in a sentence.
All right. In the cynical, Jesus said, I'm a Jew, but being that one of you is going to betray me tonight, I'm ordering the shrimp. There you go. Great. I get to offend and everybody else just laughs. Okay. Cynical. Give it a whirl.
Sennical.
Oh, you've got an S and an I we don't need in there, but I'll tell you what, let me just give you this real quick. And I'm going to give you another chance. Here we go. Let's do this. Let me give you a current word, if I could.
Easy one.
Oh, quarantini. Quarantini.
Give me the definition.
All right, you're very demanding. The day or nighttime cocktail many have used to unwind amid remote work and COVID-19 lockdowns.
And you can give me a sentence.
All right. After a long day of going nowhere and having no human contact, nothing calms the nerves like a quarantini.
Quarantini.
That is correct. All right. So who have we got standing by for a playoff round?
Well, it's not a playoff yet because Gwen Ellen hasn't had any first words. So you got.
Oh, I know that. I'm aware of that. Thank you so much, Mr. Director. But so far, who's standing by? Deborah Neal?
Debbie Neal. Yes.
Okay.
Debbie Neal.
And Beverly?
Yep.
Okay. Things took an ugly turn for Ed and for BJ, and they've left us. Apparently, I don't see them here. All right, so let's go on. Now we're at Gwen Ellen. Is that correct? All right, Gwen Ellen. Here's one for you. Let's stay with these words of 2020, I like to call them. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce.
And that's one word?
Yeah.
Okay. Could
Awesome
you give me the definition, please?
I will. I will be happy to. If something really great happens and you want a way to call it out, you can say it's awesome sauce. For example, if someone tells you about their promotion at work, you could say, that's awesome sauce.
Could you use it or have you used that in a sentence, or would you like to?
No, but I will right now.
Okay, thank you.
Why wait? Please stop saying awesome sauce. That's my sentence.
This is bad because I'm not supposed to touch my face because of COVID, and you're making me laugh.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm way past. Look at me. We've been at it a year. Who cares? Really?
Okay, awesome sauce. AWESOMESAUCE.
Oh, for all your worry. Look at you. Look at you. All right, let's try another. Let's give you another one. Would you like a current word or a word from the show? What's your preference?
Oh, I don't know. A current word. Give me a current word. They're fun.
All right. Let's see. Mansplaining. Mansplaining.
Men or man?
Man singular. Mansplaining. Yes.
And could you give me a definition, please?
All right. The explanation of something by a man to a woman in a manner regarded as condescending. Mansplaining.
And in a sentence, please.
Daryl carefully mansplained the pap smear procedure to his wife and sisters.
Mansplaining. MANSPLAINING.
That is correct. Happy Bell. Hello. I may run out of words with these good spellers. All right, let's go to our playoff round. We've got Gwen Ellen, we've got Debbie Neal, and we've got Beverly in the tower. Is that correct? All right. All right.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Tom.
Okay, let's start with Debbie Neal, if we could. All right, let's try Sir Munkel. Sir Munkel.
Sir Munkel?
Sir Munkel.
Could you please give me a definition for that?
I would think I should. A short sermon by a priest.
A surmuncle. And would you please use it in a sentence?
There is no such thing as a surmuncle.
I didn't think so. I've never heard of surmuncle. All right. Well, if there was, it might be spelled SERMONICAL.
Oh, there are some extra letters there. I'm sorry.
Of course there are.
It's SERMUNCKLE. When you need to spell it in the future, you'll remember that.
Thank you very much.
Sure, I'm happy to help. Thank you for joining us. We love a goodbye song, don't we? Let's go to Beverly. Beverly.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Your first word is no, I just couldn't do that to you, Beverly. It wouldn't be right. Let's do this. A modern word of 2020, hydrochloroquine.
Oh boy.
Hydrochloroquine.
Okay, give me the definition.
Can be used to make a delicious and apparently safe beverage with remarkable healing powers when you don't have bleach on hand.
And would you use it in a sentence for me?
He started each day with a refreshing iced hydrochloroquine and a bagel.
Okay, I should know this. I've heard it so many times. HYDROCHLOROQUIN.
Oh, I'm sorry. The word ends in an E. So close, though. So close. I'm sorry.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Retired to the tower.
Yes.
All right. Are we just down to Gwen Ellen?
Yes, sir.
That's
right.
Gwen Ellen, and she's got to spell this right in order to win.
Okay, I'm gonna do you a favor and give you a simple modern word of 2020 to start out. Let's go with, all right, Karen. Karen.
Could you give me a definition?
A colloquial term for a white woman weaponizing her privilege, often at the expense or well-being of an individual of color. When used as a meme, it's often paired with images of a short, angled, and heavily highlighted hairstyle that's been dubbed the "Can I speak to the manager" haircut.
Would you use it in a sentence, please?
You know I will. I have several options. Look, a Karen. Karen forgot her mask when she applied for a job at Trader Joe's. Ooh. Karen's biggest challenge was that her mask messed up her spiky hairdo. Karen.
Does it have to be a capital letter?
Well, whatever you like. I don't think she deserves it.
Okay. Is it Karen?
It is. It is. All right. Let's give you another one. Remember that if you spell this one correctly, you are the winner. And I'm going to stay with the words of 2020 here.
Okay.
Fauci. Fauci.
Okay. Could you give me a definition, please?
Dr. Anthony Fauci is a famous American physician.
And would you use it in a sentence, please?
Brenda saw her primary care doctor because she had an ouchie in her Fauci.
Well, that's spelled capital F-A-U-C-I.
It is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, Gwen Ellen is our winner. We're so happy. We're so happy about it. Nicely done.
Much.
And here's your prize.
Oh, and here's Lisa to tell you what you won.
Oh, what I want. Thank you.
A reusable Pentacle Theatre cup and some Pentacle mints. And Logan has something to add to the prize.
Yes, you also get a bottle of wine. Somehow I've got a guy who got some wine. So
is it a Chardonnay?
It's not a Chardonnay. It's not even a Sauvignon Blanc. I think it's just like a Pinot Noir. But
one of your dads.
One of my dads knows a guy, so I'll get it to you. You're welcome.
You fun.
Can I just say one more word before we go?
Yeah, make Lindsay Hauser spell it.
All right, Lindsay. Is she there? Oh, there you are. Donation.
Unmute, Lindsay.
Donation.
Unmute, Lindsay.
She's muted. She's muted.
Lindsay must not use Zoom for her work meetings.
Here she comes. She's on her way. She's typing out the word mute. No, Lindsay.
Get it together.
There you are. There you are. All right, Lindsay, your word is donation.
Donation. D-O.
Well, no.
We want a definition.
Don't steal my thunder.
Oh,
shut up.
okay.
Look at Mr. Barfy is on glue.
Definition.
Okay, you're making me nervous, Mr. Barfy.
Well, that's what I'm
for.
Donation.
Barfay. It's an
Can-
accent. Hey, dude.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
No, but I'll give you a definition, then I'll use it in a sentence. A generous gift to a worthy cause. All right, here's the sentence. Here's the sentence. To set an example, Robert Salberg made a generous donation to Pentacle Theatre in front of everyone. There's your sentence.
Donation.
What a guy.
D-O-N-A-T-I-O-N. Donation.
You are correct, even though you're breaking up.
Thank you. And can somebody give
And now
Jeff?
it goes to Robert.
No, give Jeff Witt a prize because he stayed in character the entire time.
I'll do more than that. I'll give him a word. One last current
Good.
word. Glamping, Mr. Barfy.
Glamping. Can I get a definition, please?
A somewhat glamorous style of camping with extra amenities.
Okay. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Karen loved glamping, but complained that room service was slow.
Oh, the Karen with the haircut.
That's correct. Spiky did.
Glamping.
Oh, here we go with the foot.
G-L-A-M-P-I-N-G, glamping.
You are correct. Very nice. Very nice. Lisa, back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Oh my goodness, you guys, this was so much fun. And I really do want to thank you all these cast members for coming together from all across the nation, really. And the leadership of Robert Salberg for directing the show, and Mr. Hewitt for leading our spelling bee. And mostly I want to thank our generous supporters donors who've kept us going through some really crazy times. And our sponsor for this event, Stephanie Palmblad of Collier Law. Thank you very much. And let us know what you'd like to see via Zoom again. Good night.
Congratulations, Gwen Ellen.
Thank you. Hey, Tom, can I tell you something?
Yes.
The way you used use in that sentence, I'm from the Midwest and that would be spelled Y-O-U-S-E as in use guys.
Wow. Gwen Ellen.
All right, you guys, I'm shutting this down.
Thanks for setting me straight.
Bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. I love each and
Thank
every one of
you.
you.